Welcome to the Urban Movement Podcast, where hosts James and Danielle Urban are your guides to stepping up your self-improvement game with motivation, a side of humor, and some straight-up real talk. This is the intersection where authenticity and personal growth meet to help you break free from the Matrix. And unlock your full potential. Get ready for honest, raw, and uncut conversations with special guests. Let's dive in and start moving forward with the Urban Movement Podcast.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Urban Movement Podcast. We are excited to kick off 2025. We haven't really been recording our podcast. We've just been going live on Facebook, but I came across an account on social media, and we were talking about it last week on the podcast with Chelsea Mishakis.
There you go.
I just asked her to like repeat it so that I didn't get it wrong, and then I went and got it wrong anyway. So Chelsea has been growing her Instagram account, TikTok account. I think I came across you on TikTok because of your ice bath challenge and wanting to go into the ice bath every single day for 365 days.
365 days.
I've been watching the journey because it kind of aligns a lot with my book that I'm writing called Theory 360, which is about doing something hard every single day to meet a goal. Sometimes you don't even know what that goal is that is ahead of you. And perhaps maybe that goal for you on the other end, and we'll talk more about that. Who am I to tell you what your goal is? But maybe that is going to be to write a book about ice baths, you know? So, so tell me what got you started on this journey? What got you started writing?
So
writing, sorry, ice bath. Sorry, I was like reading and then that word just popped into my head. I'm sorry. Here we go.
That's okay. Well, my very first one was back in 2017. I actually didn't know what it was called when I first did it. My husband and I got married, and they had like a plunge pool at the resort we were staying at, and we decided to do one. But like a year later, we ended up doing what was called an entrepreneur camp. We had seen Jesse Itzler live on stage, and he had mentioned doing like wanting to do this like really hard challenge, but having a bunch of like challenges leading up to the big challenge, but we didn't know what the big challenge was. It was kind of a secret. So we signed up for this challenge, and they had you do these things, and one of them was cold showers. So we're like, okay, super out of my comfort zone, but let's dive in and do it anyways. Felt great. Awesome. Fast forward a few years, I had done a few cold plunges here and there, but what really led to my journey was we had started a business. My grandpa had been in the hospital. My aunt had just passed away. I stopped talking to my parents. Like, there was so many things going on. I have 3 kids. I woke up at 2 a.m, the night of starting my cold plunge challenge, with a massive like mental breakdown, 2 a.m. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I had been, numbing my own pain with drinking. And I wouldn't say that I was like by means an alcoholic. I was a social drinker, but that catches up with you. And I'd done a lot of hard things before, but I hadn't really had something that stuck, like something that was permanent. And I remembered my cold plunges and how hard it was. And I just kind of really wanted to take back my power. So I was like, I need to start cold plunging every single day to take that power back in my life, because it's something hard that I can do every single day and have that control of in my life. So that's why I started cold plunging. I really didn't have an end goal, but everyone says it kind of takes like 3 months in order for something to stick, and it never really stayed for me after 3 months. So I chose a year, hoping that will stay with me for life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that you actually don't have an end goal in mind because I think that you're going to discover it in this process and it's going to be part of the journey and it's probably going to be something that you didn't expect and you're actually like really speaking my language right now because I'm reading this book called Claim Your Power by Maston Kipp. If you never heard of it, I definitely recommend it. You have?
No, I haven't. That's
Okay.
like, I would love that.
Yeah, I think it would be really good for you to read because it sounds like you're like there. It sounds like that 2 a.m. wake up call was what he calls your divine storm. And it's just like you're on autopilot doing the things all day, every day. And then all of a sudden, you wake up and something's different, right? And so you
hmm
made that conscious decision to make a commitment, which I love because a lot of people, they're like, oh, maybe I'll do this or maybe I'll do that. We're flighty in our commitment making. But
Sure.
you put it out there and you made it public, which is the ultimate way to hold yourself accountable. So that's cool.
Well, not only are you doing it the hard way, but I think you're doing it the hardest way because you live north of Chicago. Is that right? Or Detroit?
Yeah,
Detroit.
I live north of Detroit. Yeah.
Okay. And it's cold.
It's very cold.
Yeah. So we're down here in Florida. We're enjoying 80-degree weather. There's snow on the ground up there.
There's snow on the ground. Yesterday or this morning when I woke up, it was -4.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And
It
you do
was
this
brutal.
outside every
Do this
day.
outside every day. Yep.
So the actual tub is frozen just by nature, right?
Yep.
And you have to go in and actually break up the ice yourself, which is
Yep.
probably a workout in itself, I would imagine, right?
It is. Sometimes I have to wait before I record my videos because I'm so out of breath.
Yeah. I mean, you got like a hammer or something over there hacking away at this ice, right? So
Yeah.
that's the start of it. So you're warming yourself up essentially. Do you know how cold the water is?
So it's been like lately, it hasn't, it's kind of actually unfroze a little bit because we actually had like a 40-degree day, which was like paradise here. You see people walking around in their shorts.
That's
Just so funny. So it actually thawed a little bit, but my water throughout like the whole winter has been like 32.5. So just above freezing. It's been diabolical, you guys.
I'm
It's been
sure.
a different feeling,
You're
that's for
going in there
sure.
for 3 minutes.
Yes. I What's great about the tub is I usually go in 2 to 3 minutes. When I go out on the lake, if we go like frozen or go out on like the frozen lakes, I'll stay in there for like 5 minutes because like below my knee is usually a little bit warmer and I can handle that for a little bit longer.
Hmm. So do
Yeah.
you know what a typical, like if you went to a spa and they had a cold plunge, do you know what the temperature of that water would be?
It's usually about 50 to 55 degrees.
Oh wow, so you're going above and beyond here. Like you're way over that top.
Yeah, that's wow.
Well, the good news is as it warms up in the summer, you'll probably have to put ice in there rather than
Yeah, have
Yes.
you made that plan yet of what that looks like? Once
So I actually just signed a partnership agreement with one of the biggest cold plunge companies in Canada, and they're sending me a tub right now, which is pretty cool. And I'm looking to get a chiller, so that should keep my water about 37 degrees, like year round, unless I
Nice.
let it freeze over the winter, which will be cool still. But yeah,
and congratulations on that partnership.
thank you. I'm pretty
Yeah,
excited.
and it seems like the bathing suit thing is like you're wearing a different bathing suit every single day too, which is like insane. I'm like, how many bathing suits does this girl have? That's wild. Do you have partnerships there too?
I don't. Okay. That's probably the craziest part is I don't. I have gotten sent a couple free bikinis from my favorite bikini place, which is Berry Beachy. Love them. They're super awesome. The quality's great. They always fit. But every other bikini my husband buys for me, actually. So that's where they all come from.
Nice.
So you just have this massive collection right now.
They're all they're littered all over my closet. And he's like, he bought me like bags to put them in and like hangers to hang them up on, but they're still scattered everywhere. Like,
Have you
sorry.
worn the same one twice yet?
Yes, I've about 5 of them so
Okay, so
far.
you've started to recycle through the collection. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I mean,
I've
that's
had
fair.
to.
If you had 365 bathing suits, I would be like, what would you do?
Yeah. And
Especially
that
when
could,
it's only summer, like 2 months out of the year here.
yeah.
Oh.
That's amazing. And the other reason that it kind of, I don't know, I guess connected with me or whatever is because also I had done a cryo chamber, and that had also started because I was in pain. I had all types of lower back issues, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor wanted to do surgery. And I'm like, I'm not even 40 years old yet. At the time, I wasn't 40 years old yet. And I was like, well, maybe what I need to do is try something else. I had done cryo chambers in the past, but not consecutively and consistently. And I found a place that was right around the corner from work. So I would just stop in there every single day on my way home, do 3 minutes at negative 220 degrees. But I don't think, even though it's negative 220 degrees, when you get out of there, because it's dry air,
Hmm.
you recover pretty quickly. Like your body
Okay.
recovers pretty quickly. I don't think your body temperature is recovering as quick. I'm pretty sure that you probably have like a chill to the bone for a while, I feel like.
Yeah, it's the lower percent of like body fat I'm getting to because I'm also been in a cut for like the past few months as well. Like while I do this, the colder I'm staying for a lot longer. And my husband bought me a heated blanket because I was like, I cannot get warm for a few hours after, especially because like it's one of those things where after you get out, like in order to receive the full benefits of a cold plunge, like you're not really supposed to like dry off like within the first like 5 minutes or put on a bunch of clothes right away or get in the shower or anything like that. Like you have to kind of wait it out. So that's what I do. And I just stand there like a wet rat, like so
Dripping.
dripping
So,
wet.
so what have you experienced? What are the benefits of cold plunging on a daily basis?
What's been great is so far I've lost, I keep fluctuating between about 23 to 26 pounds, which has been pretty awesome.
Amazing. Congrats.
Thank you. Muscle recovery has been huge. I'm huge in the gym. I love to lift weights. So muscle recovery and inflammation has been an absolute game changer for me. I don't stay sore for very long because I'm in the cold plunge the next day. So that has been really awesome. Mental fortitude. A lot of this has been very like mental for me, obviously, because every single day I don't want to get in. It never gets easier. So that has definitely helped build my mental fortitude along with like my patience and things like that. Has been like a negative side effect where I get overstimulated very easily right after my cold plunge. Like I feel touched out. Like as a mom, like I'm sure like I'm like, please don't talk to me, loud noises, like, those kinds of things. But other than that, I've seen nothing but positive results. One big thing that I didn't realize that was going to happen was my endurance has changed. I feel like I can breathe easier while I'm running. I've never been a runner, and which is wild. I'm training for an ultra marathon in September.
Okay.
So I I've never been a runner, but I am able to breathe easier with my training, and I never expected that to happen. So that has been a really awesome, unexpected benefit of the cold plunging.
Did you plan on the ultra marathon before you started cold plunging?
No. So I do something hard every single year. It's called a misogi. I got that from Jesse Itzler as well. It's like a Japanese tradition where they choose something hard to do every single year in order to have growth in the person that they are and like literally like change who they are every single year. So last year I did 75 hard and also got my diving certification. This year I didn't plan the cold plunges. I actually was looking to see what I was going to do. And we chose the ultra after I started the cold plunges because we hadn't quite figured out what we were going to do for the Misogi this year. But yeah, so.
Wow. Well,
That's
that's
awesome.
inspirational. And
Well, that's so weird because I've never heard of a Misogi,
yeah,
and yet that is basically what Theory 360 is like doing
choosing
something
for
different.
the year. Yeah.
Yeah, every single year, like challenging yourself um, whatever that may be. For me, that thing this year was writing the book and making sure that I write every single day. Now, I haven't always been successful with that, is writing every single day, but I've been trying to do things that will inspire me every single day to write, so that when I do have the free headspace, when I'm not working or I'm not doing whatever it is that I'm doing, then I can have that inspiration to write. So reading a new book every single week, like just doing things that will challenge my mind. Yeah, but that it hasn't always been like
Well,
it's not.
maybe Chelsea can help us out because she's a busy mom of three and she has a lot going on. So we talk a lot about habits and structure and routine on this podcast. So maybe give us a little bit of insight into what do your days or your weeks like? How do you schedule that out to make sure you're hitting all of these commitments and, moving forward with consistency?
So I think like the biggest thing is you have to have your non-negotiables. Like I am a mom of three. I also am a business owner. So I own a porta potty company here in Michigan. And my husband is a police officer. So like we have no time here. But you have to figure out like what is a priority for you and make it a non-negotiable. It doesn't matter what time of day. Like sometimes I'm waking up at 4:30 in the morning in order to get my things done. Like I have to get my workouts in so that I'm not a psychopath for the rest of the day. I have to get my cold plunges in because I made that commitment to myself. There are certain things that you can do, but there's also things you need to give yourself grace on. If you can't get it done every single day, make it for a weekly challenge. Okay, I need to write 10 pages of my book this week. Because if you do it every single day, sometimes that's setting yourself up for failure. So make sure that you're doing it on a weekly basis. Like, okay, I need to get in 5 workouts this week. I couldn't do it today because life happened. Great. So now I can work on doing it tomorrow. Things like that.
Are you cold plunging every single day?
Yes. Every single day that I post my video, I do my cold plunge. Once I'm like in clothes, I start editing my video right away and I post it right after.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
So a little routine going, right? You said you wake up
Yes.
in the morning, you do your workout first thing, you get that out of the way. Cold plunge is probably
Yes.
part of your morning.
It depends. My husband, it works midnight, so he gets home sometimes 6:30. Thursdays he works doubles. Like he's my cameraman, so he helps
Got
me a
it.
lot with like those kinds of things. But yeah, it's someday. I mean, just last week I had to do a cold plunge at 10 o'clock at night, and I posted it, 10:30. So, but I still got it in.
Got it in. Right. That's the thing. It was the end of the night, but you didn't give up on it. You just did it.
No, and it's one of those things that like even if you don't feel like doing it, it's it's going to get you closer to your goals. So you have to sacrifice that comfortability in order to do it anyways.
Amen to that. Sacrifice. That's what it takes.
And
that's all it is.
Your work ethic is astounding. It's really incredible. And the fact that you're also doing other things. It's not the only thing that you're doing. You're also running a business. You got children, as Danielle had mentioned. What else is going on in your life that you
What else?
I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Like the business takes a lot of a lot of my time. That's like a 9 to 5 thing here. We are still running the business. My husband and I we're hiring people this year. We just booked 6 festivals. So I mean, it's busy season is getting busier. So it's definitely, that's why sometimes it gets later when I'm doing like the cold plunges or having to edit my videos or whatnot. Only 2 of my kids go to school. My other one's only 3. So she's home with me all day. She's part of my cold plunges sometimes. She's just out there moseying around, so it's a lot. It's a lot.
Wait, I think I've seen a video of you and your daughter. Like she gets in hers too, right?
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. My German Shepherd's in here. Come on. Get out of here. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We got a dog too. He'll probably make an appearance at some point.
Oh, yeah. So my 12-year-old has gotten in the cold plunges. I actually
Wow.
Don't shame me on this, but 2 weeks she had to do it for because she got in trouble. So I was like, this is a punishment, but also an added benefit because it makes you feel so good after. So it was one of those things where I was like, you're going to learn the discipline, and also like
So
where
smart.
you're putting in the work, but you're also going to get rewarded for it, for how you're going to feel after.
Mhm.
So she got in the cold plunge a couple times.
I could see my husband nodding his head. We have a 13-year-old. He's like, this is a great idea. We should do
Doing
that.
a couple weeks ago, because I did my 365 days in a cryo chamber. I was doing it 6 days a week because I had off on Sunday, so I just didn't have access to one. But a couple weeks ago, I got invited to go try out one not too far from here at a place called Zavel. Shout out to Zavel.
Yes, Heidi is awesome.
Heidi. And she said, "Oh, you got to try we just got a new cryo chamber. You got to come and try it out." So I went in there, and my daughter was my cameraman,
Yes, I
camera.
love that.
And as soon as you open the door, like it, all the cold air comes like blowing in, like a big thing of mist. And I was like, "Oh, you jump in there," And she's like, "No, I'm not going in there." And I was like, "You say how much you love the cold, like go see what it actually feels like."
Yeah. Even if it's
Yeah.
a minute, I went in for what, 2 minutes and 30 seconds at the highest possible temperature that they would let me go in one time.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't that bad. Yeah. I mean, I guess because it's not wet like you experience, Chelsea, it's just a very dry, cold. Like, yes, your skin is cold to the touch, but did you find like
I'll tell you this, I could not do 3 minutes.
And that one was colder than the one that you
I don't know if it's colder.
Oh.
They say that the temperature is the same, negative 220 and Zavel, negative 220 at iCryo. I think it's because I wasn't doing it every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the right mindset going in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, I'm just going to test it out. And I made it like a minute, and I was like, dude, what am I doing in here? Yeah, I swear I tapped out. And this is after so yeah, it was my own. Yeah, my mindset had kind of
Given up on you.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Because it was something that he was doing every single day you made it at least 100 days, maybe more, right?
Oh, I made it a full year of doing it.
Oh, you did do the full year.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I did it full.
I remember you celebrating the.
No, I did 100 days in a row.
Okay.
Yeah, where I wasn't taking a day off. That I did for 100 days, and then after the 100 days, I was like, this is getting ridiculous because I was driving up there, and it was kind of just taking time out from my other schedule,
Yeah. So
another thing that I had done, Chelsea, since you were talking about an ultra marathon, I had rode my bike a couple of years ago on two different occasions, actually, two different years, two different times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had rode my bike from Florida to Washington, D.C., like a bicycle.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was 1,000 miles. The first time I did it was 1,000 miles. The second time I did it was 1,400 miles. And that's actually a part of the book that I'm writing right now, is talking about that experience and the preparation that went into that, because I never planned on riding my bike up there. Like, it was literally like 30 days before I actually started riding. I didn't know what I was going to do during our vacation time. It was during COVID, and I was like, oh, maybe I should just ride my bike up there. It came to me in a dream. And that's what we ended up spending our vacation time, her following me in an RV while I was riding my bicycle up the East Coast.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So tell me more about an ultra marathon. How far is that?
So the one I'm doing, it's a 50K, and it'll be in Georgia, and that's 31.2 miles. And I think the most I've ever ran consecutively is 6 miles.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's definitely been something, like, kind of one of the reasons why I've been in a cut now for so long is because, like, I need to prep my body in order to be able to run like that. There's no way that I would be able to do that right now without the proper training for the next 6 months. So that's what I'm looking to do.
So you're really just planning on completing it?
Oh, yeah.
It's a competition.
I don't care. Like, if I get very last place and I am crawling across the finish line. As long as get it done, that's all I care about. We only have 8 hours to complete it, so I have to make sure that I can run that in 8 hours.
Where is that ultra marathon being taking place?
It's Running Man Festival in Georgia.
Running Man Festival in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between an ultra marathon and a regular marathon?
Regular is like 27 miles, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing is like it just hits an ultra.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's the one that David Goggins does. He does like the 100 mile or whatever. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's insane. I love him.
You follow David Goggins too?
His book, Can't Hurt Me, was one of the things that completely changed my life. I listened to it every single day. I read the book multiple times. Like, he is an incredible, the mindset of that man is just absolutely incredible. And I think that everybody could learn a lesson from David Goggins for sure.
I got to listen to it again. I feel like it's been a while.
Did you listen to it the first time?
I think I listened to it when you read it.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal book.
Yeah.
It's a really good book. Yeah. What's not to like about David Goggins? I mean, the guy,
super inspirational.
Yeah, he like was running on broken ankles and shit.
Yeah. If you love David Goggins, and I talked about Jesse Itzler a lot, read Jesse's book, Living with a SEAL. It talks about how he actually lived with David Goggins for a while.
Oh, right, wait a second. Hold on. Now that name is yes. Living with a SEAL. That in fact, he's the one like that kind of like brought David Goggins to life, right?
Yes. Yep.
That's so interesting. Yes, I did. I know who the person is because when you were saying it earlier, I'm like, why do I know this name? But I couldn't really think of it. But now,
because David at the time didn't want to be like known in that book. Like, he didn't want people to know who he was. And then he came out with that book, Can't Hurt Me. I think I want to say like a year or so later. Yeah.
I just took notes so we don't forget the names of these books.
I'm actually right in the middle of listening to, I say reading, but really I'm listening to it. Dichotomy of Leadership by Jocko Willink, if you've ever
loved that book. Yep.
Yeah, really
I love Jocko. We just seen him in Ann Arbor last year live, and he's incredible.
So do you and your husband, you guys go to like a lot of keynote speeches, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Events. My husband's a former Marine too. So that really speaks to him too, like the Navy SEALs and whatnot, like, and that kind of, military Marine mentality kind of, seeped into my life over the past like 12 years that him and I have been together. So
that's great. I mean, what a gift. Most people don't know what discipline is. They might be motivated for a little while and, kind of on that high of, oh, I'm going to do something. I'm going to achieve something, and they set out to do it and then they overdo it and then they burn out and then they're like, well, this is too hard. Forget that. And there it goes. Right. So if you don't have that consistent discipline, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I feel like I'm learning a lot from this conversation right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the point, right? We're all looking to surround ourselves with people who are doing the things that maybe we want to do or to achieve. And it's like, okay, well, I want to learn from you. How are you doing this? Because there has to be some sort of method, some sort of formula, because it is the day in, day out, non-exciting pieces of the puzzle that will get you to that end term goal. It might not always be fun. You definitely don't want to do it every single day, but like you said, it just gets you closer no matter what.
Yeah, it's like really picking out those internal battles in your mind and going to war with yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Take a page out of Nike's book. Just
I actually said that on my last podcast. I was like, just do it. And I was like, okay, we're like Nike ads over here.
You're making me kind of want to like try a cold plunge because I'm like deathly afraid of it. And I'm like, what? It's not going to kill me. What does it feel like?
So the greatest thing that I can say is after you're done, you get like a dopamine rush for up to 4 hours after. So that's why a lot of people do it, is to get that like natural dopamine rush. But getting in the cold plunge, it's hard.
Is it physically painful? Like, are you hurting?
It's one of the reasons why I wear neoprene gloves and socks, is because the pain from your hands and your feet is almost unbearable sometimes, and your extremities are the most prone to frostbite. So that's one of the reasons why I always wear those. I'm starting to slowly talk myself into taking them off and like, building myself back up again to not using them. But it's not painful as much as it is shocking for the rest of the body. You do have to learn to control your breathing, because you will start to panic because your body is going into fight or flight mode and wants you to get out. So it's one of those things where you literally have to go to the tropics, go to Florida while you're in the cold plunge and be like, this is where I'm at. Because sometimes, like right when I get in, I close my eyes and I envision myself that I am on the beach and I see palm trees. Like that's where I'm at. But it is shocking, to say the least, every single time you get in.
Wow.
So, but do I recommend it? 100%, because there is a lot. I
might be taking that statement back.
You know what's so funny?
I'm gonna hold you to that now.
Here in the Florida here in Florida, we have the Florida Springs, and it's natural water that comes from like the crust of the earth, and it's crystal blue. You've probably seen pictures of it. It's like a turquoise blue.
Yeah.
When you go in there and it's 95 degrees outside, the water itself stays at a constant 72 degrees, I believe. And when you first go in there, you lose your breath. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and you're like,
you're
doing this number?
And that's 72.
And that's 72. So can you imagine 30 degrees? Oh my God, no, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I'm not.
Okay, at least start at like, a true cold plunge, you can start at like 50. I think it's like 55, 57 degrees is like truly a cold plunge. So just try that.
Yeah.
30 seconds. That's all you need.
If I ever strike it rich, dude, we're getting a cryo chamber in here.
Okay.
When you strike it rich. That's what I always say. I don't say if, I say when.
But yes, your words matter and your words are powerful. That is true.
Very, very, very true. Manifestation of the things that you visualize, the things that you speak into existence,
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely.
Another part of the book that I've been writing a lot about, that it seems to have happened in my life over and over again. And when I look back, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I can't believe that actually happened. I can't believe that actually came true.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally understand that for sure.
What are like some of your dreams? What are some of the things that you want to accomplish?
My husband and I have been entrepreneurs for the past like 10 years. We flipped houses. We were really big into like flipping contracts with crypto and things like that. And then we got the porta potty company. So I would love to own multiple businesses. That's kind of like a passion of mine. I just want time freedom. I want to be able to retire my husband. Like I said, he is a police officer, works really hard for the family. So that is probably one of the number one things. Also to, have experiences for like my family. And I'm not like I want to say materialistic person, because I do feel like I am to an extent. I feel like a lot of women can relate. We like our shoes and things, but I want to be able to experience the world, So, and I think that like being able to give my kids that is one of the dreams that I have. But the biggest one for me would be to possibly be a motivational speaker, get up, on stage and talk to people and inspire them to do hard things like you're looking to do. I think that the mind is such a tricky thing to be able to understand. And, like it's hard because everything is different for each person. And if we can tap into some of those things in order to make people question why they do the things that they do every single day, then why wouldn't I want to be able to inspire somebody to do that? I'm just an average person, I'm just an average mom. So to be able to get up on stage and talk to somebody and then write a book myself, like, I think that would be, one of the most incredible experiences I could ever have.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely on the top of mine for sure. Like, of the things that I ultimately want to achieve. And, I think, what is that one term that you use? Imposter syndrome.
Yes. Imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Is thinking that, like, you still haven't done enough in order to have the role that you believe that you want to fulfill. And I think imposter syndrome is a bunch of bullshit. I really do. I mean, it's real. A real thing. It's a real thing. But at the end of the day, it's like, who really does think that they fit in the shoes that they are walking in?
Yeah, I think a big thing with imposter syndrome is we all like ingrained to have that like pack mentality, where we all run with the pack, like who we surround ourselves with. We want to make sure that they're okay with what we're doing because, like, as human beings, like, that's just a natural connection. So to go against the grain is something that a lot of people don't want to do because they don't want to be seen as, stupid or, like they're going to fail or whatever it is. And that's where that imposter syndrome comes from, is like thinking that we can't do these things because we might look stupid doing them. And I think that's, something that will continue to happen no matter, even if you're on stage or when your book does well, because you're still going to feel like, well, maybe I didn't do enough in order to get here, because there's always going to be somebody telling you that you didn't, but don't let that person be you.
Yeah, there's always haters out there.
Oh, yeah.
There's always going to be people that are going to naysay the journey that you're on. And I think that it really comes out of envy. Mm-hmm. It's their ego that kind of gets in the way of being proud for someone else, for someone else's journey, or being inspired by it. God forbid we give someone props for doing something hard or something difficult. It's easier to just be like, you'll never make it, than to actually say, like, I hope you make it and I hope you inspire me to do the thing that I want to do too.
Absolutely.
I hate to keep bringing up my book, but there's so many topics that we're talking about right now that I've just got done writing about, and one of those things was in my book, I'm talking about right before my ride, my bike ride. I was at work and this guy had told me, oh, you should talk to another one of our coworkers. A friend of mine had told me to go talk to this guy. And he says, yeah, he's a cyclist. Like, he'll be able to lead you in the right direction. And I went up to him and he's like, and I told him, my goal. And he's like, yeah, I had heard about it. He's like, honestly, have you ever rode 100 miles before? And I was like, no, man, honestly, I've never even rode 50. He's like, well, the chances of you riding 100 miles and doing it 10 days in a row is not going to happen. You're going to likely get this thing called RAB. It's a long word.
Oh, yeah. Rhabdo. It's like rhabdomyolysis or something.
Yeah. Basically a breakdown of the muscle tissue, and it stunts your kidneys and could cause fatality, right? And it usually happens in ultra runners. It happens in people that are cycling, long distances and that kind of thing. So he was like trying to strike fear in me to not do this thing, Well,
maybe he was just concerned for your health.
Yeah. And rightfully so. Like, he had the right to tell me, hey, you got to be careful of certain things, make sure you're hydrated, blah, blah, blah. But telling me, like, the chance of you doing it are not going to happen. That guy was in my head the entire time. Every mile that I pedaled, I was like, fuck that.
I'm going to show this guy wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong right now.
Which is also, like, I think a mental thing. Like, we all need a nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every hero needs to have a nemesis. We all need to have somebody that we're going to overcome. And sometimes that nemesis is our own mind. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that nemesis is in our own soul that tells us, oh, you can't do this. You can't be a keynote speaker. You haven't done enough, right?
Yep.
Like that's ourselves telling ourselves that we can't do that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, who are we to tell ourselves that we can't do that shit,
We're
right?
our own worst critic.
We
That's the problem.
are. And it's because
Yes, we
we
are.
just think that we haven't achieved the thing. You just crossing 100 consecutive days of cold plunging is more than most people will do in their life. I'm dead serious. People don't realize this.
Hmm.
Because the thing is that like I look at people that I know and that I love dearly, and I think to myself, like, God, they don't do enough difficult things. They're so comfortable doing the bare minimum. And then they wake up the next day and wonder why life is still miserable for them. And you want to
Absolutely.
shake these people and you want to be like, get on a bike and ride 100 miles. Get in a cold plunge and do the difficult thing, despite what your mind is telling you, despite what your body is telling you don't do. Do that. Do that
Mhm.
thing. And that thing is going to be the thing that will set you free, that will change your life. You
It
know?
kind of reminds me of like what Danielle said in the beginning is like a lot of people like have that motivation in the beginning where they're like, you know, they hit rock bottom and they're like, I'm going to change my life. And then they do it for a few days. And then the day where they don't feel like it, they give into that feeling. It's you have to push through that barrier in order to keep going. Because if you don't, you're going to end up right back where you were.
Mhm.
And doing the hard things, like you said, will bring your mind to a place that most people will never see in their lifetime.
Yeah, it reminds me of the saying like, don't feel your way into acting, act your way into feeling, because you're not going to feel like it. So just do the
Yes.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so true. One of the things that I'm not doing right now is working out. I've been like putting it on the back burner over and over and over and over and over again. And this is again coming from someone who, when I was going through my sobriety, I was like, I will not miss a day in the gym. Like my alcoholism
You
and my
cross addicted.
addiction
Yeah.
became my addiction for like working out and staying healthy and
Mhm.
doing all those things. And then when I went from that to like just becoming comfortable, like I crossed I crossed it off the list and I was like, okay, now I can take a day off or a week off. And then before I knew it, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm still trying to get back. I invested in a gym in the house so that I wouldn't have any excuse not to go, and I still find one.
No, no.
No, dude, I'm human though. I'm human,
I
and that's
understand.
what the podcast is about. Is that like, despite all that I have done, I still have so much more to do. I still have like more challenges to check off. I'm never gonna be able to do all of the things all of the time. It's literally impossible to
Mhm.
ask that of yourself. The only thing that you can do is have the list of things that you want to achieve and do as much of it as you possibly can. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I can't go into the gym, because I can. I can do that. It's that I am not, because I am lazy. And at my core, I am a lazy person. I think at everyone's core, we are lazy. We have to like extinguish it like a firefighter and put that away and put that to rest so that we can go out and do the thing that we want to achieve. And I think that part of me writing this book is going to be having to go into that gym and working out.
I
There,
think that will help give you that inspiration, that drive too, on the days where you don't feel like writing, and you'll be like, well, you know what I did today, you can check off those boxes. Like, I already went to the gym today, so that's giving me the inspiration I need in order to write. That I did the discipline, like I made sure the consistency happened. Like, I did these things that I said I was going to do, and now I can continue forward on my book because that is what my book is about.
Mhm.
You know,
yeah, you're
it
absolutely.
just it trickles down into every aspect of your life.
So let me ask you about your gym routine. What does that look like? What are you doing differently or to prepare for your ultra marathon?
So that's kind of been the most difficult thing right now because like lifting weights helps with my sanity. So I've actually cut down where I was lifting every day for an hour. Now I lift for a half hour and then I do cardio for a half hour. So I'm trying to get in 2 miles a day for my cardio, and then I just do like, back and buys, like chest and tries, like all of those things, like each day, for 5 days a week. And then the other 2 days I have active rest days where I still try to get in a couple miles. Now in 2 weeks, it will be exactly 6 months until we leave for the ultra, where I will only be lifting for 15 minutes a day and I will be running for 45 minutes to about an hour and a half every single day. So, and then I will probably cut out lifting completely like 3 months later and then just solely focus on running. But my routine will probably consist of me now getting up at 4:30 in the morning because I'm going to have to get a run before I go into the gym, and then do a little bit of the gym and then go for a run after.
Dude, you and my wife are gonna be best friends after this. I'm dead serious. She's doing the what is it, the couch to 5K.
Yep.
That's
And
awesome.
Thanks.
never was a runner either.
No.
Hates it.
Yeah.
Me too. Yes, queen.
I mean,
love it.
I'm not going the extra, past the 5K. We'll see what happens, but I'm starting small here.
Hey, it's a start. It is a start. I'll take
Yes.
that.
Danielle likes to take like baby bites.
Yes.
She does. I'll tell you what. You want to talk about a machine? This is it right here. Somehow,
Atta
some
girl.
way, I'm like, I don't know where she gets the energy. We went to a seafood festival today. We were walking around in the sun. It was, getting warm outside. And I came home. I was like, yo, I'm gonna take a quick nap. I'm going to the gym, dude. Like, what are you doing? And yeah, you went, walked the dog, went in the gym.
No, not yet, but
Oh.
I will.
Just constantly
Just cranking it out. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's the check boxes. Like now I feel guilty if I don't do it. You know what I mean? And it wasn't always part of my routine. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh yeah, I was always striving in every area. But right now those things are making me feel good. So why wouldn't I want to do them?
Absolutely. I always say that too, like success and failure go very hand in hand. Like where your success and your discipline is trickling into like, different aspects of your life. So is the failure. Like when you're succeeding in one area, you're failing in another. Like my house is a complete disaster, you guys. But that's because priorities, like my priorities change. But like I'm succeeding in the gym. Okay. Well, now my husband and I's like date nights, like those kind of have taken a back seat, but like he's still there as my cameraman. So it's like those things go hand in hand, but you're still checking those boxes and it's getting you to where you need to be. But you have to give yourself that grace though, too.
Yeah. What about your husband? Does he partake in any of these quests that you're on?
Yes. So he's also doing the ultra with me. He was actually the one that pushed me to start recording my cold plunges and posting them online. He's like, I think these will help inspire other people. So I think you should post them out there. Now with the cold plunges, he was doing them like every other week, just like once a week. Now he's striving for 11 to 12 minutes a week of cold plunges. So, because that seems like to be the sweet spot when it comes to like the health benefits is about 11 minutes a week.
That's not a lot if you think about it.
Nope.
When you're in the water, it is.
Yeah, but I mean like what, 40, no, a minute and a half, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay? Less than a minute and 20 seconds.
Well, that's awesome that you guys have that relationship together and have kind of built it on challenging each other and pushing each other beyond your comfort zones.
Yeah, he's my rock. I wouldn't be
think,
where I am without him.
Well, my wife says the same thing about me.
She just laughs.
As do you about me. I'm glad you're putting words in my mouth. But yeah.
Oh my.
She's like, I'm out. Sorry.
Of course.
Just kidding.
In fact, the more that we challenge each other, the more that I fall in love with my wife, is the truth. And the more that I see her chasing her goals and setting new ones and going after them, I'm like, God, she's inspiring me. And, she's raising the stakes, if you want to put it that way. And I'm proud of you. Love you.
Thank you. Love you
Yeah.
too.
And
I love that,
I'm
you
proud and I'm
guys.
proud of you too,
Stop.
Chelsea. Proud of you
Thanks,
too,
guys.
Chelsea. You guys you're doing something that inspired me. So your husband was right. When I saw that what you were doing, I was like, oh, I got to talk to this person. I got to, and just hoping that I wasn't going to be just another creep in your DMs, because that's not what I was trying to do. Because I was
No,
like,
you're not.
oh,
I
I was
swear.
like, oh, it's going to be probably a lot of dudes that are like reaching out. Is there dudes that are reaching out in the DMs?
That's probably like I can handle a lot of like the negative comments, but the biggest one that I've gotten that really, excuse my language, fucking irks me is the OnlyFans. Do you have an OnlyFans? Just because I'm wearing bikinis on the internet where people post their bikinis during the summertime, whatever.
Yeah.
I realize I have big boobs. Okay. I know that. But like, just because of that, everybody is assuming that I have an OnlyFans, and that will be something that I will never do. It is not something that is ingrained with me. I have 3 daughters. I am not judging you if you do that, but I do feel like every single attractive woman, like most of the time, 90% of the time, you come across an attractive woman's Instagram or TikTok, they have an OnlyFans. I understand that's easy money. It's just not something I will ever do. And that is the comment that bothers me the most, that I get the most DMs about.
Yeah, guys are just like
Nasty.
they're nasty. Like, you go into some of the I'm not saying anything about the comment. I haven't gone into your comments. I haven't looked at them. But sometimes I do go into comments and I'm like, God, guys are just like
Vulgar.
Gross.
vulgar, and it's just like, where do you get the balls? Where do you get that from? That like you feel comfortable making a comment that is so suggestive or something that's so
Disrespectful.
disrespectful to somebody
Yes.
else. Like, God, it's like wild to me.
The
But hey,
mindset I will never understand.
there's a market for it, and I guess like people, you see one person do it and the next person is doing it. Yeah, I don't know.
It's just not something I can get behind.
A few months ago, several months ago now, 6 months ago, I had removed all of my teeth and I got implants on everything, right? And
Oh, how bad did that hurt?
um it was uncomfortable for like a week, 2 weeks.
Danielle's like, I had to take
Now,
care of you.
now,
So
now, like I couldn't tell, they don't come out or anything like that. So like they're permanently installed there. So I can't tell the difference between these and like natural teeth, right?
okay.
Aside from the fact that they're beautiful and white,
I'm jealous.
The people that did the teeth, they used my likeness to promote other people going out to Las Vegas and getting the same exact procedure that I had gotten.
They
done.
used your video for an advertisement.
Yeah, they used my video as an advertisement. And I went in there. Sometimes it blows up, and there's 40,000 likes in there, a shit ton of comments, and I'm curious, like, what are people commenting on?
You don't look at those. That's when you just don't. Okay, you hurt your own feelings.
I get curious.
Don't do it.
Somebody killed the cat, and some
That's
people.
me.
Some people, I'll say this: 90% of the people are like, "Oh my God, they look so beautiful. I wish I could. I wish I had the money. I wish I blah 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 blah." Every once in a
10%.
while, that 10% is like, "You look like a donkey." You know what I mean? Or like they just say like the most rude shit to me, and I'm like, "Yo, what's up with this person?" One time, it's so funny. One time I saw this woman, and I was just like, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna message this woman, because after I went to her profile, I went down the rabbit hole. I'm sorry, I did. I went down the
do it
rabbit
all
hole.
the time.
She's my friend. She's my friend now. I'm not bad mouthing her. She's my friend now. And I went to her and I said, listen, I saw this comment that you posted, and I don't think that you're a rude or a mean person. What would make you write that? And like, as if this person was flawed, because believe me, they were. If there's as if this person wasn't flawed, they were. We all are flawed. And so and then she like kind of opened up like, yeah, I'm in a bad mental place. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna delete the
Aw.
comment. And then I was like, oh, you don't have to do that. I was just kind of curious, like, why would you write something nasty like that about someone else? Like, you don't even know me. You don't know what I've gone through, what I've lived through, nothing like that. You're just taking one 30-second clip and you're spinning a whole narrative of the person that I am, which was just like, I don't know, it just hit me in this way. And then she eventually did find the video. She kept saying, like, send me the link, please send me the link, and I'm gonna
Aw.
delete it. And I was like, don't. I don't need you to. Like, it's fine. I just wanted to talk to you, you know? Now she's my friend, you know, and she messages me every once in a while and like, hey, how's everything going? I hope you're doing well.
Aw.
I'm doing something because I've been telling her, like, go do something for you. Don't be scrolling through here, writing messages. Like, that's not you. You're
Right.
better than that.
Most people fall into the trap. They get sucked into, what social media really is intended to do, which is numb the mind. And then they go to a dark, ugly place and their insecurities get the best of them. And then because they're hiding behind a screen, what's the word that you used? Keyboard warrior?
Keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
Just go to
Mhm.
town. And it's like, well, would you say these things to the person's face if you had the opportunity?
Right.
Of course not. Most
No.
people wouldn't. Most people wouldn't come up to you and be like, hey, you got an OnlyFans or what?
Right.
But on social media,
Imagine.
because they're hiding behind a screen, and most of those people, their profile picture is not even their icon.
It's always a
their-
dog or a landscape.
Mm.
Yes. It's so crazy. And then they have no videos of their own. And it's just like,
They're creeping.
yeah, basically they've created an account so that they can be nasty little fuckers, dude. And it's like, man, grow up. What are you doing?
Yes.
You
They're
know,
just
like that's
projecting
how
their
you're
own
wasting your
insecurities.
time is by like scoping out women on social media. Like, obviously, she's not doing this for people to talk about her boobs. Like, because like she wants
Right.
to inspire
Motivating, inspiring, not,
Yeah.
attracting. But that's the problem with our, society is that everything is marketed.
Sexualized. Yeah.
Yep, that's
Now,
just it.
one post that I did.
My husband. Oh, I was gonna say my husband said use what you got, and I was like, okay. Like,
It's helping. I'm sure it's helping, right?
yeah, I'm
One of the
sure.
posts that you had put up, I think it was on your stories or something. I said I'm gonna bring this up and when we talk. Someone thought you were AI. Someone
That-
commented
Wow.
and said she's not even real.
Chelsea, you're so perfect. You
I was
are
like-
flawless, girl.
Oh, okay.
So I started looking into opening up a business, an online business. I'm not going to do it. I've voted against it. I was like, I can't go down this road. Was AI girlfriends
Oh my god.
by creating women on social media because they call it pretty privilege. There's a real term now that guys are throwing around called pretty privilege, and that if women are like really good looking and they're posting videos on social media, like they're gonna get a lot of feedback, a lot of content, a lot of comments, a lot of whatever, right? And these guys are posting videos of AI women, and they look flawless.
Real.
They look very, very, very real. Where you're like, is that real? You know, and they're using face swapping technologies and they're doing all different types of things. So I came across this video one time of a woman that had Down syndrome, right? But she also had an hourglass figure. Okay.
I've seen that. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? There's
Mhm.
probably a few of them floating around out there. But when I came across that video, I'm like, is this real? Because I've never seen like that before, you know? So
Mhm.
it struck my interest that I was like, I got to find out. And then when I started doing some more research, I found out it was like face swap technology it was AI girlfriend where guys will want to date that person.
It's so messed up.
Right. Which is, yeah. And I was like, well, there's a real market for it, and maybe we need to jump on that.
No, you can't. No, you can't be a part of the problem.
I know. You're right. Write my book and shut up.
But,
You know what I mean?
at the same time, if you don't do it, somebody else is gonna.
Wait, I'm always looking for the quick buck. You know what I mean? Which is not always a good way to
Hey, I get it.
business. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you get sucked in and you think, oh, that would
God is going to
be-
bless me on the back end of this book. That is my true belief, that I'm putting all of my hopes, all of my dreams, all the things that I've lived through. I'm really pulling back the curtain and showing like this is what was really going on behind closed doors. Although everybody else saw the bike ride on social media and they saw, oh, this guy is like crossing state lines, like it was a fun time. It wasn't. It was a lot of hard work. It was a real pain in the ass. It was a lot of stress, not just on me, but on my wife, on my daughter who was following behind me. There was a lot of arguing that went on behind closed doors because of it. And, looking back on it, I'm like, wow, but it was the dream, right? The dream came to life, and it was a actual dream. It was a dream that I had, and it came to fruition, and I can honestly say that. And I hope that all of your dreams will also come to fruition. I really mean that, because I want to see you succeed. I know that you're going to. I see the path that you're on. You may not know what the end goal is, but you and I are going to do a keynote one day in front of a live audience, and we're going to meet face to face. And I'm going to be like, did you think that podcast that got 120 views was ever going to lead to this? You know,
I'll be like, yeah, we did it because we spoke it into existence.
Exactly.
High five, dude. Virtual high five. Chelsea, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you so much for telling us your story. Thank you so much for inspiring me on social media. I mean that. Thank you so much for jumping in that cold bath every single day, because although you're doing it for yourself, your inspiration is creating waves of other people that are going to also do that hard thing. They might not invite you onto a podcast, but believe me, they're watching, they're taking notes, they're changing their mentality. And when they start to see that you are going to succeed on the back end of that, someone is going to look at that and say, you know what? I've been wanting to do something too. And it may not be a cold bath. It might be something completely different. And it will be something completely different because you're insane for doing what you're doing. But congratulations
Thank you.
on all of your success. What day are you on?
115 was today. So I'll be on 116 tomorrow.
Yeah, where's the clapping thing? I'm not gonna.
You might pick the wrong one. But that is
Thank you,
congratulations.
Chelsea.
Keep going. And yes, a pleasure talking with you tonight.
Chelsea, where can people find you?
On TikTok and Instagram. I'm making a YouTube soon, but it hasn't came up yet. So
Excellent. And that is at Chelsea. I'm gonna drop it right there on the bottom. So guys, just or her bottom or my top, whatever it is. But thank you guys so much for following. Thank you guys so much for sharing, and we'll see you on the next podcast of the Urban Movement.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Be sure to follow, like, and share on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Urban Movement Podcast for even more content. And don't forget to connect with your hosts, James and Danielle, on X at @TheJamesUrban and at Danielle_Urban_. Keep moving forward and embracing your journey with us at the Urban Movement.